Everyone, me again, Danny at DW Aquatics. Now this is going to be an up close and personal kind of video, basically just to let you know how I got into the hobby, where my love of these wet things came from, and also another way to generate conversation. How did you get into the hobby? Post your video responses or comments and let me know how you got into the hobby. But this is my story. So basically I was brought up around fish. My dad was quite a large fish keeper. He dabbled with everything, ponds, tropical, marine. There was always a number of tanks dotted around about the house when I was growing up. Then came quite a large pond that he built himself. It was actually a 2-tier pond. Very nice pond. And he was well into his koi keeping, so he kept a lot of koi carp. He used to breed and show his koi, Japanese koi, and as you probably know, they're not the cheapest of fish to purchase. But money was no object to my dad when it came to fish. If he needed or wanted a certain fish, he'd simply just save up and go and buy this fish. So that's where it all started for me, really. I was brought up with them, as I say, and I just constantly found myself gazing into all the tanks, looking at these little underwater worlds that he'd created. But yeah, he was definitely more into his koi and the pond kind of thing than he was into his tropical tanks. If he had to have picked marine or tropical freshwater, it would have been tropical freshwater to win hands down. He liked the koi, the marine, but obviously because of he worked a lot and stuff, he couldn't, you know, keep on top of it the way he wanted to keep on top of it. He's no longer with me, God bless him. He passed away 6 years ago now. Very sad, but life goes on and life's cruel, I suppose. So when he sadly passed away, I wanted to do something in honour of him, really, and that meant getting into fish myself, getting stuck into it. So, you know, as most of you, I started off with a small tropical fish tank. If I remember rightly, it was a 2.5 foot fluval tank back when I lived with my mum. And that started life off as a cold water tank. So I had a few Sarasa comets, some goldfish, butterfly, koi carp and ghost koi. And it didn't take me long to realise how much of a stupid mistake that was, given the fact that the tank was only 2.5 foot and I had fish in it that could reach well over 1 foot in size, and you know that they were filthy, they ate messy, they shit messy. I was constantly cleaning filters and everything. So I moved those on. A friend of mine had a pond, so he kindly took the fish for me. I kept the tank, I kept everything. I went out, got myself a little heater, and that's where tropical started. And I had, you know, all the usual stuff. I had guppies, endlers, swordtails, platies, angelfish, neon tetras, scissortail rasbora, bristlenose plex. I even made the mistake that a lot of you guys are still making, common plex, buying them as cute tiny little things in your pet shop, and then they go boom, and before you know it they're like 16 fucking foot and they can't turn around in your tank and they're leaving big stringy shits everywhere. Hypothetically, obviously these things don't get to 16 foot, but yeah, you know, I'm just messing. But yeah, I made that mistake. I also made the mistake of keeping the angelfish with little tiny neon tetras that ended up being food. A bit closer. So yeah. But, you know, it got me wondering, it got me doing little scapes with Java moss and Java fern and all that, messing about with lights and stuff. Then my guppies bred. I was chuffed. I loved it. So I went out and started buying these little floating plastic containers that you float on the tank and put your female in and stuff. That was good fun, breeding me guppies, me endlers, me swordtails, not giving two shits as to what bred with what. But you know, we all make the mistakes when we first start. This was about 8 years ago, so but yeah, it was great, I loved it. Obviously that led to another tank, so I picked up a I think they call them D shapes. The back's flat but the front's like half a hexagon. Quite a tall tank it was, not a bad size. Held about 60 litres of water I think it was. And that's where all the fry went. You name it, guppy, fry, everything else. Then I found myself looking into my tank and wondering why my angelfish were pretty much killing everything. Next minute, big patch of eggs right up the side of the filter, angelfish. I was like, whoo, that's new, I've not done them before. Didn't even know they'd do it, I didn't know how to sex them. Hell, I didn't even know how to keep them properly. So that led to another tank, and I got it was the exact same tank as the 2.5 foot fluval, but it was just over 3 foot, bit of a weird size. I think it was like 37 inches, something like that. And that's where the angelfish went. They did okay in there for a while, so by this time I was about a year to a year and a half into it, and I had 3 tanks. My bedroom was a loft conversion in my mum's house, so it started getting a bit scary, wondering whether the floor would take the weight, but oh well. I was happy, fish were happy, loving it. Back then I had no worries, just me and me fish, and my girlfriend obviously. So yeah, so I had tank with angelfish in, tank with a load of guppies and stuff in growing, and then the main tank. So yeah, bred the hell out the angels for a little bit, started getting stuck with the babies, so I was like, well, that's not good. So, you know, let's get a hit of this shit. I gave them to a friend. The guppies, some of the nicest ones, went back into my tank, and then a lot of the others went elsewhere. But then, you know, it's got this about 3 years in now, same tank, same everything else, just replacing stuff that dies. You know, I was making all the same mistakes everybody else makes, cleaning the filter in straight tap water, 100% water changes every time it needed cleaning. That was like once a month. Gravel vacuum, so I was basically setting up a brand new tank every time it was water change day and stuff. But then I got bored of normal fish. I wanted some nasty big fish. So I started researching and researching and researching, and I kept finding myself going back to cichlids, Central American cichlids. So obviously that means a much bigger tank. Mum was very happy with me at this time when I came home with it. It was a 4 foot long, 18 front to back and 18 high. External filters, you know, I was stepping up my shit. I was going way up. And then came the fish. Obviously once the tank had been cycled, I I went down to the local fish shop, which back then was Andy's Aquatics, and I got myself a Texas cichlid, Heritz's Carpine, rainbow cichlids, Hero Tilapia multispinosa, jade eyes, which were known then as Cyclosoma spiliorum, convict cichlids, don't know the Latin name of them still, firemouths, so they were Fritzi's Miki, and yeah, that's how the tank was. Decor was all just your usual bloody stupid ornaments and all that stuff, and then the jade eyes bred. Well, there was me setting up my 3-foot fluval again. They bred. So I had that tank set up, then I had my firemouths bred, then my convicts bred. Everything was breeding, and that was great. And then it came, my current partner got pregnant with our first, so we needed our own place, really. So we moved into the first house that we viewed because it just had fish room wrote all over it. And that's where the first fish room started 3 years ago. And then a year after that, my second fish room was built, bigger. And then a year after that, I'm in here. So yeah, sorry for rambling on for so long. I just wanted, because I made this video a couple of years back, so I just thought I'd revisit it and go in a bit more detail. And that's my story. What's yours? Let me know. What started you off? How long have you been keeping fish? Do you enjoy the hobby? Do you see yourself giving up anytime soon? What are some of the problems that you've had to deal with on your journey? And yeah, so just to end this video, give my wonderful dad a little tribute, since he goes on the wall of every single fish room that I've ever ran. So I have a little plaque made, and that says, "In love and memory of Simon Walton, who died tragically. Much love, Dad, of Daniel and Callum. You're always in our thoughts." Obviously Callum is my younger brother. And then that's, probably won't be able to see it, a picture of him and a friend. And then just him. This plaque and 2 pictures take pride of place in any fish room that I'm ever using, and that's the way it'll always be. That's the way I love it. So yeah, paying a little tribute to the father. After all, it's his fault that I like fish, but I wouldn't want to be doing anything else. So yeah, that's all for now, folks. Stay sexy, and I'll see you in another video soon. Bye!